Hey, so it's been a minute. It's actually been almost a year since I last uploaded, and in that time, you guys have grown the channel to over 100,000 subscribers, which is actually why I'm here today. I'm going to draw 100,000 pixels on this 250 by 400 canvas to represent each and every one of you subscribers, and I'm going to just sit here and talk about what's been going on with the channel. I started with a rough sketch to make sure the composition for the final image was good. I decided on a sweeping pathway through all of my old videos to represent the journey we've been on. I want to express how grateful I am for the little pixel community that we've grown here. Everyone has been so supportive and kind in the comments, and I can't think of a better community on YouTube. Once I had my sketch and I was happy with the composition, I refined all of the objects on a new layer. I did this in one color because I wanted to focus solely on form. Okay, but what happened? Where did the videos go? To put it simply, life got in the way. I've been so busy with everything that I haven't had time to make videos, which has honestly sucked because this channel has always been something that I've really cared about. But in that time, I did not stop creating. In fact, I think I created more art in the last year than I ever have in years prior. It just wasn't pixel art. But do let me know if you want me to show more of my non-pixel stuff on this channel, or if you'd rather me keep it strictly pixel art. Alright, now I had the outlines completed, I began coloring underneath them. The approach I took for this drawing was quite helpful. It sort of separated the process into the stages of an artwork, in a way. I started with just the composition, and then I focused on the shapes and form before moving on to color. This way I was only focused on one thing at a time. Once I'd finally finished coloring all the areas of the drawing, I moved on to detailing. I mainly wanted to clean up and remove those outlines because I felt like they were making the piece way too dark. And with lots of content in the final scene, there were a lot of outlines to fix. This was by far the most time-consuming part of the process. But in the end, it was totally worth it. I initially felt overwhelmed by the task, so I cut a small section and pixeled over it, thinking I'd be able to do this for the whole image. But once I gained the confidence that this brought me, I was able to focus on one section at a time and slowly work my way up the drawing without having to cut it into sections. I guess this goes to show that even though we can use bigger brushes and fill tools, sometimes you just have to manually place each pixel. And it's pretty cool to think that I placed pretty much all of these 100,000 pixels. And it's even cooler to think that each pixel represents a person who thought these videos were worth their time enough to press a button. As for the artwork, I struggled the most with getting the waterfall to look right. The style for the trees and rocks is something that I've practiced a lot over time, but it was difficult to incorporate water into that style. I didn't know how realistic or stylized I should go. But overall, I really enjoyed creating this artwork, and I think the canvas size was perfect. I was able to cram a lot of references into the scene, but every element was scaled up to a good resolution. I didn't feel at any point like I had too many or not enough pixels to be able to draw something. Well, thank you for joining me as we celebrated 100,000 of you lot. And thank you for your continued support, even though I haven't been very active. I hope to make another video soon, but in the meantime, happy pixeling.